I'm Misha Patel and I'm a DPhil student in engineering science. So my area of work is in renewable energy and my research focuses on tidal stream energy. I'm trying to refine the assessment of how much tidal stream energy we have in the UK, and I'm doing that by investigating the key parameters that affect resource assessments, and then that can inform a standardised model which I can use at multiple UK sites to assess the resource we have in the UK. So assessing the resource for tidal stream energy is really important because we know we have a resource that we can tap into in the UK, but we don't know exactly how much there is in the individual sites that we've identified. And it's really important to work out what the potential could be at those sites before we start developing them and deploying arrays of turbines. It will help inform investment decisions and make sure we do have the investment to develop these sites. And it will also make sure that when we're developing the sites, we're not affecting the resource downstream by deploying too many turbines upstream and choking the flow and that kind of thing. So with anything, you need to recognise all the challenges that affect extracting the energy and just being well informed so you can develop a site properly to get the maximum resource. Tidal stream energy does have significant potential if you can overcome technical, economic, environmental challenges. Most importantly, what we want to do for tidal stream energy is use it in conjunction with other forms of renewable energy. So use it with the wind energy that we've got and solar energy, because tides are predictable and they're also reliable. So we can work out when we're going to be able to harness the energy from tides and use that to contribute to baseline demands for the UK. To actually assess the UK's tidal stream potential, firstly you need to identify the key sites where you can actually harness tidal stream energy. Tidal stream energy sites are really affected by geographical factors, and there aren't many sites on the east coast of the UK, but there are on the west and also up north. I'm looking specifically at the Pentland Firth. So you need to have the right bathymetry, which is your depth. You need to have a constriction in the channel, so you have fast moving flows or a fast moving flow around a headland. And then you need to work out what other restrictions are there on those areas for fishing, for navigation, all of those kinds of things. So you're almost trying to fight for that space for where it is best to deploy these turbines. And then you need to have a pretty robust model to model the tidal dynamics. You need to implement a model of your turbine into a simulation and make sure that you're representing how the energy is being extracted correctly. And then bringing those all together, you can come up with a more refined assessment for the resource. There are environmental impacts and considerations for tidal stream energy. When you're extracting energy by putting turbines into the sea, you can affect the morphology of the seabed. Also, you do have to consider wildlife, marine life. And to date, they haven't identified any sort of collisions with large mammals, but there is a way up between the environmental impacts of developing a site for tidal stream energy extraction compared to the benefits of tidal stream energy within environmental considerations and combating climate change, and the benefits of it are much more significant. I've always been interested in renewable energy. I did mechanical engineering for my undergraduate degree, so I suppose my interest in renewable energy started off in sustainability in general. I've worked on projects within sustainability all across the board, from sustainable agriculture in Iowa to energy modelling of state-of-the-art arenas in the UK, in the US. And then I kind of came to tidal energy in my final year of my undergraduate degree, and I ended up doing my dissertation on tidal energy as well, which is kind of what brought me into this field and made me want to do my PhD, because I really enjoyed that kind of long-term research project, and had the theme of sustainability, which has always been of interest to me within engineering. When I finished my undergraduate degree, I was kind of weighing up whether I wanted to do a PhD or potentially move into industry straight away. But I think then when I kind of got interested in tidal stream energy, a lot of that at the moment is very like research based. There is obviously work going on in industry, but for me I felt the importance was in getting a refined assessment of the resource, and that's very research driven at the moment. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that kind of long form project, really sort of getting into what I'm interested in, being able to like collaborate with academics. And I always knew I wanted to do a PhD. It was a question of whether I would maybe go into industry and work for a few years and then come back and do the PhD, or do it straight off from my undergrad, which is what I did end up doing. So there is a bit of a shift from undergraduate work to PhD work because you don't have sort of any taught aspect, especially the PhD that I'm doing, but that also means that you basically do exactly what you want to do for your PhD. You don't have to kind of do all these other modules that, you know, are interesting but not perhaps, you know, part of what you want to do long term. So it's really nice to get in depth to the topic that you're researching. But yeah, I would say that PhDs are a lot more like doing your dissertation full time. If you're thinking about doing a PhD in tidal energy or marine energy in general, I think it's really important to think about what aspect you want to work on. So I'm working on the resource side, but you can work on like more of the tidal technology. So you can work on turbines. Both, you know, they interlink and there's crossovers. I have to like work with my colleagues who are working on tidal turbines because at the end of the day I'm implementing those models into my simulations. And I need to understand the interaction between the tides and the turbines. Although tidal energy seems like a niche subject when you're thinking about everything you can possibly do in engineering, there's sections within that. So I think try and identify what side of that you want to work on, what are you really interested in, try and find like an area of interest within tidal energy, and then consider how could you make a contribution in that area. So I started my PhD during the pandemic, which was always going to be tricky. Luckily, a lot of my work is, well, all of my work is simulation based. So I don't have any sort of practical elements that were kind of affected by COVID or anything like that. But I felt like doing at Oxford, the university was really supportive about starting during the pandemic, and then being able to move to Oxford once things kind of settled down has been really great. It's a beautiful city, there's lots going on, there's like so many academics you can talk to who have done huge amounts of work in your area and made huge breakthroughs. Alongside my research, I'm really interested in supporting equality, diversity and inclusion initiatives. So I'm on the Women in Engineering Network Committee, and I've also been involved in the BIPOC network as a member, which has been great, supporting events and initiatives of both groups. So I like to dedicate a lot of time towards that alongside my research. And then for like downtime, I love baking. That's like a really nice, fun, creative outlet for me.